Hi friends at Swift River School. It's Emily, your art teacher. I've missed you so much. Things feel a little different right now, and I know you're all feeling it. I'm feeling it too, but I want you to know that I'm really sure we can be creative together, even in this different way of learning. I wanted to talk a little bit about what art will look like for you. For the first couple of weeks, I'll be sending some videos like this to your Google Classroom. So you can access that, you can find your way to those videos, or if you need some help, you can ask your caregiver or your parent to help you find the art videos in your Google Classroom. And then once things get a little bit settled with you at school, I'll start to join you live in your Google Classroom. So we'll have art together. And I'm really excited for that because I miss your faces. I'm excited to see all of you again, even through the screen. So I thought I'd give you a little peek to start of my art space where I work at home. We are all going to have to create a tiny little part of our table, or maybe in our room, maybe it could be on a little dresser or somewhere that a grown-up says it's okay to create a little art space. So when it's time to make art, you have all of your kind of a space to make art, and maybe you've collected some materials that you can use for that art. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in this video. But for now, I thought I'd show you a little bit of my art studio. So this is my art table. You can see I face the window out my house. And this is my art cart. You can see it in the corner. And then I have, and you can see on the bottom of my art cart, there's some paints and things. And this is the table where I'd make art. You can see I have some watercolors, and I collect stones and little pieces of wood from the forest because I find that things from nature are really fun to make art with. And I always collect scraps of paper. You know me in the classroom with all of my scraps of paper because I feel like they can be really inspiring for making art. So I like to keep them around to help them inspire me. So when you're at your home, I know you'll have a space to do your schoolwork, your classroom work, and then maybe even the art space can be near that, wherever that space is. I'm encouraging you to kind of collect some things around the house that your grown-ups and caregivers or parents say is okay to collect. Like you don't want to take things if people are feeling like that's their personal stuff. So you need to ask first. But after you check in, you can collect those things and we can use them later when we're making art. And you can show me what you have and I can show you what I have. And that's one way we can be creative together. Let's see. So the other thing I wanted to tell you is that in your Google Classroom, where you'll find the art section, I am going to post a link to my Pretend Art Studio. So it's like a Bitmoji classroom, but for art class. And in that, if you find your way to that, and if you have a hard time finding that, you can ask a loved one, a caregiver, a parent to help you find your way there. You'll see that in my Pretend classroom, I have all sorts of things for you to explore. I found links to museums, so you can take virtual tours of museums, even museums in like Paris, and I think I have one on there in Korea. So that's cool. We can kind of just tour museums, even if we're just in our room, in our own homes. We can pretend we're traveling the world looking at art. I thought that would be kind of fun right now. I have links to certain artists that I thought would be really neat to look at and talk about their work. And I have some books that are kind of artistic, and I thought those would be fun for you to explore on your own. So you'll see if you kind of go through that little pretend classroom, if you hover your mouse, your cursor over some things in the classroom, you'll see you can click on them and then you'll find your way to these fun things. I wanted to let you know that I did order some art supplies for everyone, and I'm going to make some art kits to send home to your home. But unfortunately, we got news that all of the supplies are kind of slow to get to Swift River School. I guess every teacher in the country and world, really, everybody's ordering supplies for their students. And so the companies and factories who are making these supplies are having a hard time keeping up. So the note we got, the message we got from the companies is that they're working on it, but it's probably going to take a little time. So that means that your art kits are going to take a little time for me to put together. But I promise you, I give you my art heart promise that as soon as those materials come in, I'm going to make those kits for you and make sure they get to your home. Okay? I promise that. But I wanted to let you know that they're coming, so you know that my mind's on it and I'm paying attention. Okay, I wanted to read a book, and it's a picture book. This year with art, we're going to be reading some books together, because looking at picture book artists and their art is a really interesting way to think about public art and the way we express ourselves. And some people think like picture books are for just little kids, which is true. We read picture books in preschool and kindergarten and first grade. But you know what? I think picture books can be for any age. I really do. I sometimes, like, one of my favorite books is a picture book. Like, straight up, I would say it's in my top 5, like even as an adult. So we're kind of just going to be open to looking at picture books and hearing picture books and thinking about them through our artist eyes. You know, I'm always talking about your artist eyes, right? This year, we really have to pay attention to using them and kind of talking about it and thinking about what we're seeing and how we're thinking about art. So today's book that I'm reading to you is a book called Anywhere Artist. And it's a book by Nikki Slade Robinson. I'm noticing that the end pages on both the beginning and end are this bright yellow color. Anywhere Artist. That's interesting. I thought she'd have a paintbrush, and it kind of almost looks like a paintbrush, but when you get up really close, you can tell, is it a paintbrush? What is it? That's right. It's like a stick or wood or something, huh? Yeah. That was interesting because it kind of went against what I thought it was going to be in my mind. I am an anywhere artist. There's that stick again. I wonder what that's all about. I don't need paint or paper. I can make art anywhere. My imagination is all I need. I am a forest artist. I am a fluffy lichen, twisted sticks, and smooth stones. I pick up lacy leaf skeletons. And friends, we're going to do a lot with using art, nature in our art this year. So this is why I'm reading this book first, because it really inspired me. This is what I'm thinking about for us this year. I can make anything I want. Look at that! She used all of those materials to make this silly monster. Look at that. That's that lacy leaf she was talking about. I am a beach artist. I wonder what she's gonna make with the beach materials that she finds. I collect salty shells. I shape sand. I spread curly seaweed out. I use driftwood, making it stand tall to cast long-fingered shadows over my art. I am a rain artist. I wonder what materials, maybe she'll collect rain, but I wonder what she's gonna collect, like how she collected all those things for beach and forest. Oh, my feet dance ringlet patterns in the puddles. So the puddles are what she's collecting, really. Oh, this does happen with rain. I squish oozy mud into silly shapes. Look at that. That's pretty amazing. I'm curious to know, and if you want to message me and let me know through Google Classroom, or if you go to my little pretend classroom, which is in Google Classroom, you'll find my email there. I'd love to know if you've ever made something this cool out of mud. I've made mud pies, but I've never sculpted with mud, like how we use clay in the classroom. That's amazing. I am a sky artist. What do you think this person, this child, is going to use as her supply for making art in the sky? A sky artist. What do you think? Wait a minute. I'm seeing, can you see what I see? I want to make sure you can, because the light might be a little bit hard, making it hard to see. Can you see that there's a face in the cloud? Hold on, I think the sun's coming in. Let me make sure. That's a little better. Can you see that? Do you think the clouds are her material? I lie on the grass and make art inside my head. The clouds are my paint. My imagination is my brush. That's a little bit like the artist's eyes that I talked to you about, that sometimes just how you see the world, just how you look at things and say, hey, this piece of bark looks like a ship. That's art. That's making art with your mind. And that's one of the most important parts of being an artist, is allowing yourself to just have that creativity and have that imagination going on in your mind. Sometimes my art fills the whole sky. Look at that. I can make art anywhere. I can make art with anything. I bet you can too. So what will you make today? I wonder. before we go, I am going to ask for two things for you to do. One is for you to maybe make something with your mind or with a material that you find outside or just by looking up in the sky. And will you let me know what you've made? You can take a picture, you can describe it. Any way that you can share with me is great. And you will see a place to do that if you go to the art area in your Google Classroom. The second thing is I have a challenge for you. It's an art scavenger hunt challenge. I would love for you to find 8. Do you think you can do 8? If you can do 8, I'll be like, wowed. 8 things in your house or around your house that you can use for making art. Now, one of the rules is you need to check in with your caregiver or parent or loved one to make sure that they're okay with the things that you're collecting. If you go outside, you need to make sure a grown-up or caregiver or loved one says it's okay to go outside. But if they do say it's okay, and they do say, sure, you can collect that, bring it to your art space where you've set up a little section where you can make art and start collecting those things for using in this year. So you can maybe ask a loved one if there's a jar in your home that you can use, or even like sometimes when we get takeout food, it comes in this kind of container. You can ask for one of those. Or if there isn't a container, that's fine. It can just be in a pile on your table. You don't need a container. And you can go around the house and go outside and find 8 things that you really think you could use for making art. One of the things could be something like a really fun marker. Like here's a really fun marker. I might put that in my jar because I'm going to think that's a really pretty color blue, and that is something I might use down the line to make art. Then you might look around and you might find some old artwork that you made a long time ago, like this. I made this years ago. Well, you know what? We can now use this in our art. You know how we have old scrap paper in the cart where I also have like markers and things in the classroom? And I say, that's fine. You can all use that scrap paper for your art. Well, see if you have any of that kind of stuff around the house. That would be a great thing. That doesn't really fit in my jar, so I might just put that maybe underneath my jar. Or if you're not using a jar, you can just put it in the pile on your table. I might find stones outside. I might find some yarn. Remember, ask to make sure it's okay before you take it. I might find buttons. I might find, look at these fun things. See, I'm a collector, so, ooh, I almost didn't get that open. I collect things. Look at these sparkly stars. Those are something, this is my collection. I put these in a jar because I was like, I'm definitely going to use those one day. And I jarred them up, and they're still in my container, waiting for some dust. Waiting for the time when I can use those stars. I'm waiting. I know they're there. So you're going to make a little pile of materials. Made a big cloud of dust in my home. Where you'll be waiting, knowing they're there, knowing you can use them down the line when we do art together. Okay, so before I go, I'm going to review the 2 things I'd love from you is 1, share with me one thing you made that is artistic, one kind of art thing that you made. It could be an imaginative thing that you made in your mind. It can be something you actually really made. It can be even just tiny, something little tiny that you drew, anything. And if you could take a photo, you can send it to me, or you can just write and tell me a little bit about it. You can ask your caregiver to send a photo to me. And then the second thing is to make the collection, a scavenger hunt of 8 things that you can use this year, or at least this fall, to make art at your home. And collect them in a little pile. And then when I see you in like live, I'm going to ask you to share. You can hold it up and show me some of the things that you collected. I'll be back next week with another video and another little art idea for you. In the meantime, have a great creative week. I miss you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.